Okay, let's take a look at Nigeria's telecommunications sector, contributing 7.7% growth or 1.385 billion naira to the country's gross domestic product in the third quarter of 2015. That's stronger than the growth posted by the entire economy. The sector, however, was lower than the 9.57% recorded in the second quarter of the year, according to a new set of reports released late last week by the Bureau of Statistics. Internet subscriptions was reported as 65.39% growth in the period under review. Now let's get further insight into the information communications sector of Africa's largest economy. We bring in Chris Suwaje, who is the coordinator of the Council for West Africa Information Technology Professionals. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate this coming. Your industry is already growing at a very fast speed, but there are concerns about the efficient and cheap broadband. Talk to us on this.
Thank you very much. I think the industry is not growing enough if you want to capitalize the whole energy and the whole potentials that we have.
Not growing as fast as you would want it.
I think it could grow at a double digit of 15, 16%.
Within less than 10%.
Within less than 10%. Okay. So
what will drive it? Is it telephony? Is it broadband? What will drive it?
No, really. I'll ask you, what do you need telephony for? You need telephony for content. What do you need broadband for? You need broadband for content. What do you need television for? You need television for content. Nobody buys your TV or your network without content. You are more important than the gadgets out here. The people want the content. They want the entertainment. They want all the attributes that can make their social life go ahead. They want all the attributes that can improve their economic scale, be it at home or in the office. So it's about innovation. How do you innovate the spectrum of potentials that can bring content to the table so that it could be driven by broadband? I think those are the next issue. And of course, broadband also will constitute another issue of incursion by foreign content if you are not ready with local content, because local content is really what is going to drive your productivity, is going to drive your education and employment. So you need to look at how you can create an equilibrium within your broadband and of course innovation and content. And that's speaking really well deep into your education system and your business climate.
So we're still scratching the surface, as it were?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is because the research that we're having from the academia is not coming to industry. So you need to tie the disconnect between academia, industry, and government together. And tying them together, you need a sort of a national innovation think tank, at the table, where the president will be told, this is what is happening within the chip puzzle. And then we can scale up if we can have this. And don't forget, with 70% of youths, in our population, that's where the network and the engine of innovation is thriving. So we need to harness those potentials of the youth. Patu Tomi has been talking about this for quite a long time. Youth entrepreneurship, youth innovation. We need to create more startups. Creating more startups, where are you going to house them? You house them in innovation parks. How many innovation parks do we have in Lagos, apart from CC Hub and some that are coming up? We need a state intervention in building knowledge parks, science parks, software parks, and innovation parks. A city like Lagos with almost 19 point something, according to UN, over 20 million people, should have about 10 innovation parks. Okay, and that's going to create massive employment that is driven by broadband. Broadband should really be talked in terms of the implementability of the youth, the sustainability of the nation, and security of the nation.
So you see broadband as a game changer?
Absolutely.
For this industry?
Absolutely, and that is what Professor Dambata, the CEO of the EVC of NCC, is looking at. His agenda is about broadband and local content. And don't forget that we've left the fixed line behind. If you need to drive a broadband over mobile, probably your images and the content that you need to create will be too heavy to be able to be driven your libraries. So you need to create some landlines that will be able to ensure that this broadband plans for the nation can come true.
This report from the MBS, let's move a little bit to telephony. Yeah. Very quite disappointing that the CDMA market is nearing extinction.
Right.
And fixed wireless.
Yeah. Yes, I think it's a pathetic thing because probably it's a policy mismatch. At the end of the day, when CDMA and GSM were competing, probably you didn't look at the monopoly clause, because an area seems to have monopolized the other one, and naturally the other one will have to keep. It's like when you don't have an antitrust law in governance of the industry. Monopoly can come and chunk in and kill the other ones. But really, when you're talking about better technology, which one is better? Which one is durable? Because the Europeans are using the GSM and the US is using the DSM. You need to do some comparison in order to be able to give a line, to those who are crawling. For a purpose, if you now say, okay, we want to use a CDMA just for education, and let them tied up with the satellite communication, you're making sense, so you're promoting that economy. These guys can do voice and content at the same time, so you have an equilibrium of what you can do. So I think it's not just a matter of the market forces dictating. It's a matter of national policy directing.
Just about 1 minute to wrap this for us. Where do you see the sector in 2016? We did about 7.7%, let's add fourth quarter last year, and say perhaps we had a threshold of 8 or 9%. What's your growth rate projection for 2016? Do you think we have a budget that can shoot us forward to double digits that you envisage?
I will probably want to put my hand on the fire, hearing from Vice President Oshimbajo, who is, of course, is the chairman of the Economic Committee Council, that money, about 500 billion, has been set apart to be able to spur up innovation, startups, create knowledge banks here and there, and encourage, of course, state governments to do that. I know that Delta State is planning to be a force to be reckoned with within innovation hubs. And I think that's the way to go for all governments.
To build a digital city? Is that what you're thinking about?
Smart cities, with broadband, and smart people too, not just the city. Smart people to sustain a smart city. Yeah.
That's very interesting. We appreciate your time today. Very insightful, very short, but we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Chris Waje, who is the coordinator of the West African Council for Technology Professionals. Okay, let's move on and talk about some of the story. Last week, the National Bureau of Statistics released a report predicting the state of the Nigerian economy. And, of course, we've seen the budget. Let's get this report from VOA Channel's television correspondent Jill Malandrino in New York. She's joining us with the highlights of that report. Let's listen to it.
A report titled The Nigerian Economy, Past, Present, and Future. It aims to provide policymakers and investors with the likely trends of key macroeconomic indicators in future years, with the focus on GDP, inflation, and trade. While there are some obvious near-term headwinds, there are bright spots in the future of Nigeria's transitioning economy. As with all oil-dependent nations, the largest headwind is the oil supply glut, and consensus expects prices to remain lower for longer, with Iran coming back into global markets and a stalemate in production cuts. Simply put, supply far outweighs demand, and there's too much product in the system for prices to recover. That said, the report makes an interesting observation. It points out that economists love these times, lending to the phrase, never let a crisis go to waste. It allows governments to take the opportunity to make hard decisions. As such, Buhari's government is using the 2016 budget as an opportunity to reset and redirect the macroeconomic dynamics of Nigeria. In the near term, yielding results may be slow going, but according to the report, growth is expected to jumpstart between 2017 through 2019 as infrastructure developments take shape and provide support for both the oil and non-oil sectors. There are three key areas Buhari is focused on for economic growth: agriculture, industry, and services. Other measures to spur growth include a number of fiscal measures. These efforts over the 2017-2019 period should yield average growth of roughly 5.4%. Headline inflation over the 2017-2019 period is expected to average 9%, while trade is projected to grow by an average of 15.6% over the same time. A stabilization of oil prices beyond 2016, combined with a more competitive economy, is expected to yield a rebound in both imports and exports.
All right, when we come back, we'll take a quick look at oil prices going north this afternoon on the news that the growth for the market will be around 1.2% only in 2016. The IEA, the International Energy Agency, was bearish. The market decided to sell their covered positions, those holding the futures in the oil market. That's what we'll talk about after the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.